Live from Thunder Bowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, the PBA World Championship continues exclusively on Flow Bowling. After 3 days of full field qualifying, Jeff Goodger with Phil Brylow. There's more qualifying, Phil. This is Casher's Round.
Yeah, another pattern for these players to battle, the Earl Anthony pattern. Pretty medium in volume, but it's 43 feet in length, longest pattern they're going to see here during the World Series of Bowling. Should be interesting as these players transition across the lanes here at Thunderbowl. And with only 3 on a pair, the changes are going to be a little more subtle as it goes along. We can see some bowlers all of a sudden going from great ball reaction to 2-8-10, 4-9 type of ball reaction. We can see a lot of jostling on that scoreboard.
Only 45 players remain, and after 2 Casher's Rounds today, 10 total Casher's qualifying games, we will cut to the top 16 for tomorrow. And Phil, some of the players pretty much already know they're bowling their last 10 games, but a lot of players still with a chance to get in that top 16.
Yeah, exactly. And with this new pattern out there, maybe another guy way down the leaderboard can catch fire. We saw a couple players almost make match play or almost make this Casher's Round last night after having terrible World Series of Bowling, like Stu Williams and Sean Rash. Found a pattern, caught fire, got close. Maybe one of the guys on the bottom part of this leaderboard might do the same thing and get himself into that top 16.
BJ Moore was the number last night in Scorpion qualifying. We'll see him in 2 of the 3 match plays next week, beginning Monday. BJ Moore with Matt McNeil and Sean Maldonado to open our Flow Zone coverage today. Ten pairs of qualifying to choose from throughout Thunder Bowl Lanes.
Yeah, the Earl Anthony pattern, 27 milliliters of oil in the pattern, but it's a 1.8 to 1 ratio, so one of the larger ratios we're seeing here at the World Series of Bowling. One would think these players could take advantage of a little more miss room early on to start putting some strikes on the board. It is 43 feet in length, so not exactly a long pattern, but definitely longest of what they've seen here at the World Series of Bowling this week. You're seeing a lot of players trying to start farther right than we saw on the Scorpion yesterday with the way the oil is distributed across the lane. And
Hall of Famer Parker Bone III. Sorry, Phil.
That's okay, Jeff. And with only 3 on a pair, as we said, the changes will be a little more subtle as these bowlers go from pair to pair.
Changes are not subtle to me. 3 on a pair is amazing. Andres Gomez and Rhino Page with Parker Bone. Maldonado 8th after 30 games plus 598 and can't get that final pin. And Gomez can't get the 10 pin.
And that's one thing that becomes so crucial in a round such as this, putting those single pin misses on the scoreboard, taking away 10, 11 pins off your game score. A lot of times that's the difference between these players advancing into the next round and finding themselves going home with a check. Parker Bone, one of 7 left-handers in the top 45. Highest lefty right now, Matt McNeil. McNeil currently in 8th position.
$18 out of the top 20, actually top 22 players are from the United States of America. We talked about that earlier in the week, Phil. We kind of assumed that a lot of the international players would come toward the top as they normally do in the World Championship, but right now, although an Australian is leading and then a Colombian in 20th, the 18 in the middle are all United States based bowlers.
Yeah, only 8 other players outside of Belmo and Gomez bearing a flag other than the United States. Don Barrett in 23rd, Sam Cooley 26th, Pontus Anderson in 30th. And those 3 players, along with Andres Gomez and Jason Belmonte, will make up the world team for the final Fox Sports 1 TV show, USA versus the World. The USA team will be Bill O'Neill, E.J. Tackett, Tom Doherty, Anthony Simonson, and Kyle Sherman. B.J. Moore missing by a single pin from making that USA team. And so once again, pride and money, 2 things I've lacked of in life, though it's what they'll be bowling for that last Fox Sports 1 show on Friday, March 22nd, 1 week from today.
DJ Moore with that bad closing game almost cost him the Scorpion cut, and did cost him, as you said, that USA versus the World spot.
Yeah, he used the number 16 qualifier for the Scorpion parent, so his reward for having that bad last game, he gets to bowl Jason Belmonte in his first round of match play on Wednesday.
Bill O'Neill, the only player to make all 3 animal pattern match plays, and therefore all 4 match plays available at the World Series of Bowling.
Yeah, a few players made 2. Norm Duke making the Chameleon and the Scorpion. Matt McNeil making the Chameleon and Cheetah. Chris Barnes making the Chameleon and Cheetah as well. E.J. Tackett almost pulled off the threesome of animal parents as O'Neill did. However, Tackett just a single pin short in the Chameleon from making the top 16, finishing in 17th place. And of course, Tackett right now sitting in 3rd overall in the World Championship standings. That's a heck of a pairing to watch this morning. Jason Belmonte, Bill O'Neill, and E.J. Tackett. You're talking about 3 bowlers that have had superb 2019 seasons to this point, and it's just continuing here in the World Championship.
We'll get them within our coverage the next 3 games.
Couple players firing all cylinders right now. Front five for Darren Tang, front five for Mitch Hupé. Hupé stepping up on 63 and 64, looking for his 6th in a row. And Hupé gets it. One of the 10 pairs you can watch on Flow Bowling this morning. Of course, my favorite way to watch. Do the old split screen. 2 live feeds keep us on here in the Flow Zone. So we can bring you the latest news, scores, and items of interest from across Thunder Bowl. And then follow your favorite player on any of the 10 pairs that are in play on Flow Bowling at any given time. McNeil, solid start. The front five before leaving that 4-7-8. Converts it nicely. Hupé now to the front 7 on 63 and 64. Tang, outside of Flow Zone coverage, will keep you updated on his progress, though, as Tang has himself the front half.
Hupé coming up in his 8th frame. Here he is.
One of my favorite Mitch Hupé lines. I used to bowl. I still bowl, but I used to as well. And wow, how about that for the heart-ripping 7-10. Seen a couple made here this week. If there was justice in the sport of bowling, I think Hupé should make that 7-10 at this point in time.
Mitch Hupé, after the front 7, now faces the 7-10. Pins bounce here, not that one. Well, technically it bounced, but
not back up into the lane surface as we've seen many pins do here this week at Thunderbolt. Well, that knocks Hupe's max down to 266, but his lane mate, Nick Krummel, can still shoot 290. Walter Ray Williams Jr. on that pair as well can still shoot 269. So 63 and 64 starting off as a hot pair this morning for those three players. Darren Tang, his string ends at 6 in a row. 10 pin in the 7th, now a 10 pin in the 8th for Tang as he's trying to make a run. Krummel still the chance at 290. Walter Ray suffering a split on that pair. He can max out 235 as Walter Ray will be stepping up for his 9th frame momentarily. Man, that's on the number coming into this round, Kurt Pilon. Pilon at plus 498. So 216.6 average over the three previous patterns for Pilon. And with 10 games, realistically, anybody within without bonus pins, 150 pins may still have a chance. So that's getting down to players like Nick Krummel. Like you said, Krummel, hot start. He has a chance for 290 as he'll be stepping up momentarily. Mitch Hupe, he's got the first one in the 10th. Hupe can shoot 266. He's within that 150 of Pilon as well. Walter Williams Jr., Chris Olshutter, Patrick Gerard, all around that number. So solid starts for those players. Can get him back in contention for the top 16, but you start looking down at 44th place. Graham Fa, Thomas Larson, 224 pins behind 16th place. They're just battling to get as many Tier 1 points as they can here in this event for the PBA playoffs, as the World Championship results are Tier 1 results. All the animal patterns prior to and into next week will all be Tier 3 results So lots of points to be piled up here, along with some extra prize money for players like File Larson, Brian Robinson, DJ Archer, Brad Miller, who are without record-setting blocks.
Well, and one player playoff points mean a lot to right now is this man, BJ Moore, who's only bowled 2 events prior to this one, but this is his 3rd match play he's made, and we'll give him, he made 2 animal patterns and now the World Championship, give him 2 worst-case scenarios. Say he finishes 16th in the 2 animal patterns. That's still 1,425 points each. And here he's up in the top 10 of World Championship qualifying, and as you said, Phil, Tier 1 event.
Yeah, and if he ends up in 16th place again, that's 4,200 points and change on that. So he's looking at gaining 7,000 points or so at a minimum.
Actually, I was looking at the wrong list, of course.
Sorry.
So 16th in the Tier 3 would be 475.
Okay. So even still, he's still looking at gaining a minimum of 2,300 points on the field.
Yeah, and a lot of players in the top 24 or near the top 24 who missed these cuts. Stu Williams, 26th. Tom Smallwood, 25th. A lot of movement still possible. Trying to get that trip to Maine beginning April 9th. Day after the league draft. Live on Flowball. And Crummell, 290, 288. Great start for Nick Crummell. In game 1, 4 to play in Cashers round 1.
Waiting for some scoreboard issues to be cleared up here. And we'll get underway with our second of 5 early afternoon qualifying games.
Here we go. We're underway here. Doherty, Sherman, Simonson.
Those are the players that start off the day 4th, 5th, and 6th, respectively, for Doherty, Sherman, and Simonson. Doherty, you see him in the Cheetah Championship against Dick Allen in that opening round on Monday. You see him against Andres Gomez on Tuesday in the opening round of Chameleon. Belmo, you'll see Belmo in the opening round of Chameleon against Matt McNeil on Tuesday, and he was the leading qualifier. He'll battle BJ Moore on Wednesday in the opening round of Scorpion. Some of these players that didn't make the World Championship cashers around here, and they're waiting on just their sole pattern of match play in the animal patterns. They could have themselves a very long few days of waiting for as little as 3 games bowled. Matt Kuba, he gets to wait until next Wednesday before he battles E.J. Tackett in his opening round match. Kyle Troop, his lone animal pattern was a Scorpion as well. He gets to battle Kurt Pilon. And Marshall Kent, his lone animal pattern, while missing the World Championship cut, is the Scorpion as well. So that's a long 5-day wait for some of these players to continue their tournament bowling. Of course, there's a lot of other bowlers that would love to be in that position right now that missed all 4 cuts here inside of Thunder Bowl. And here is your scoring update. First game of Anthony Casher's round, going with their 10 games each on Cheetah, Chameleon, and Scorpion. Belmo's still your leader. And that lead expands as Jason starts with 289 his opening game. So Belmo plus 966. O'Neill second plus 789. E.J. Tackett third plus 736. Tom Doherty in fourth plus 695. Kyle Sherman fifth plus 653. And it tightens up quite a bit. 6th through 10th only separated by 22 pins. Simonson, Moore, Prather, Maldonado, and McNeil. That all-important 16th position right now. It's Ronnie Russell. Russell struggles to start with a 174 opening game. Drops Russell on to plus 520. Still has a 45-pin advantage over Chris Barnes in 17th. And 48 pins over Rhino Page. Pardon me, 35 and 38 respectively. That advantage for Russell. But of course, 9 games qualifying remaining. Lots of moves up and down that leaderboard. And Nick Krummel, here he's moved himself up into 23rd with his 288 start. Mitch Hupe moves to 24th with his 265 start. And a couple players with a big drop early. We mentioned Ronnie Russell in his 174. Ryan Schaefer, 179 opening game, drops Schaefer down to 21st. Don Barrett, a 177 opening game, drops Barrett down to 30th. Belmo feeling it early. We saw Bill O'Neill get the hot start last night where he started 266, 300. And then O'Neill struggled the following 2 games in that block. Came back with 171, 181, and then 161, the big struggle for the finish. So after starting 166 over with his first 2 games, O'Neill last night drops back to plus 79 on the block. Still kept him in second place, but a big gap now between Jason Belmonte and Bill O'Neill.
A smaller gap between you and me, Phil, because we've put someone in that chair. Stu Williams, you're standing here watching, I'm assuming, Dom Barrett. Now you can talk about him.
Yeah. Good morning, afternoon even. So for all those people who aren't necessarily a fan of the Belmo and EJ show, look away now. I think it's going to be, I think those two are going to separate themselves from what I've seen on this pattern this morning. I think Bill got a little unfortunate with the way it's gone down, you know, with the seeding. He almost would have been better shooting a little bit less and getting 1 pair down, I think, and he could have continued to bowl his entire tournament with Tom Doherty. But yeah, the first game, I think Belmonte shot 280. It's kind of fascinating.
So this Anthony pattern, it's 43 feet in length. It's got a little bit of a softer, I mean, it's not much softer than all the rest of them for anybody that wouldn't bowl on the PBA Tour all the time, because 1.8 to 1 is a brutal ratio for anybody that doesn't have the talent needed to be out here and in this match play round, or in this Cashers round, and in the match play tomorrow they'll be on the Anthony as well. Is there something about the shape of this pattern that is conducive to EJ in Belmo right now? Or are they just that damn good?
Yes, to both.
Okay.
I think the thing is in this bowling center, it feels like between like about 10 and 20, there's a lot of obviously they have a lot of league bowlers and they have a lot of bowling tournaments in here, and that part of the lane it feels like for some of the guys the ball hits that part of the lane and it wants to hook very quickly. So you'll see some of the guys are solving that issue, like say as Josh is right in front of us, Josh Blanchard, he's able to push the ball through that area of the lane and then he can create the break point not too dissimilar to where Jason's break point is.
Okay.
Whereas for somebody who's got a higher rev rate, and because they're right in front of us, Dom, his ball doesn't push through that spot, so he's forced to go almost to the angle that Belmo's trying to create to get away from that area in the front, but obviously his rev rate isn't as high, so then he has to try and trick it with speed or whatever to be able to create that down lane motion, and when you use less speed here, it doesn't get through the lane as well. So
it still wants to read
yes,
even earlier.
So if
okay.
you watch, the people who've actually done well have either been, that's not fair, but the people who've done well on the medium patterns for sure have been the guys who are either really high rev rate or kind of the guys who are really like low to middling, because they're able to stay a little bit further right and push it through. The guys who are kind of in the middle haven't really had that. Yeah, they haven't really had that reaction. So who was? Have you just really been focusing on the Belmonte Tackett pair? That was a pretty hefty start they had up that end.
Yeah, well, this is our first look at them today here in Game 2.
Yes.
And we're getting all those signals you just watched me throwing at Phil. We're getting the Dom Barrett group ready to go as well, so we can show what you've been talking about with Dom. And here is Dom Barrett with Wes Malott and Josh Blanchard.
See, that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like the ball just comes a little bit behind the head pin because he's forced to be so open and to kind of create those angles rather than it just naturally coming to him. I have to dial it back a little bit on EJ though, because EJ is he's actually playing in a pretty similar spot to Josh, but he's using an extremely weak ball. I think it's a newer ball from Motive, a lower end ball. I believe it's called the Thrash. But it's got a very low diff, so it doesn't flare very much. So it allows him to really hit it almost as hard as he can and keep it on line so he can use all of his power through the pins. So EJ's doing a nice job. Simonson is trying to play like he's Norm Duke today, which is kind of fun because last night he bowled like Anthony Simonson, where he stands at the foul line almost and takes 5 steps. I think we've all seen that one on TV when he's trying to throw it super slow and his approach is about, 3 feet long. So yeah, he's now trying to play straight up 10. And Josh probably got definitely has the lowest rev rate of the 3 people on the pair with him, Wes, and Dom, and he's just throwing pins around, and Wes and Dom are really struggling to get the ball to go through the pins. Let's see what Bill's trying to do here.
That's right. And that got enough of the 10.
Yeah, Bill's got more tilt than Dom, I believe, and that's allowing him to get it through the front. And he's creating a really nice reaction all week. Pretty much he bowled absolutely fantastic except the last 3 games last night. It's never good when you bowl a 5-game block and you have more for the first 2 than you do for the back 3. That's not usually conducive to a nice evening meal. Kind of leaves a sour taste in the mouth.
Oh, it just goes to show how well he was bowling the previous 27 games, because he still held on to 2nd place in the standings.
Yeah, and he also held on to the making it on Chameleon as well last night. But I guess when your first 2 is 560, that papers over some of the cracks, regardless of how bad the last 3 are. Are we having a Jacob Butterf sighted today? Is he moving up the standings?
Let's see. Butterf after 1. He came out of the gates 220. He's still in 12.
Kind of middling.
Yeah.
Nothing groundbreaking. I bowled next to AJ Chapman all week. He was quite impressive. He bowled probably the best I've seen him bowl in a while. He really stayed down on it a lot. He just had the one interesting frame that we were looking at when it was right in front of us on Cheetah when he had his 3-3 frame. I can laugh about it because he beat me by like 300. So. And he got 6 for that frame in 2 shots.
Matt McNeil on 55 and 56. He's stepping up on the front 6 right now. So McNeil trying to make a bit of a move.
Is he going to jump it out?
Wow. And that was right. You can see right there he just wasn't happy with the release at all.
Matt has a lot of, what do we call it, body English?
He'll let you know how he feels with his body movement after the ball's released, if it's a good or bad shot.
We need Simonson's guy back from last night, who every frame, the ball was at about 40 feet and he yelled carry.
Yeah.
And I said to him, being a Simonson supporter is a lot easier than being a Williams supporter. Because if you support me, you have to scream help, hook, skid.
You just need a bigger vocabulary to cheer you on, that's all.
Your surname is still Bowling.
Yeah, but, I mean, he didn't really need to say carry because it wasn't hitting the pocket a great deal. Certainly not in the morning block, that's for sure.
Hey, talking about...
Sorry, go ahead.
Talking about a guy with a little lower rev rate, Thomas Larson. But, I mean, guy that can trick it up. He's hanging tough. He started this game with the front 5 before.
Thomas, to me, falls into the category quite similarly to Josh. He gets it through the front really nicely. But even Thomas struggled until the last pattern. He bowled really excellently on Scorpion.
Yeah, he gets that opening match as the 9 seed against 8 seed Jacob Buttriff on Wednesday with Thomas Larson. Talk about a couple of guys with some interesting wrist action bowling against each other.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, that's definitely not going to be one for the purists, is it? I made Rhino laugh yesterday though. I threw one shot, and the ball return, I think it's on lane 65 and 66. As the ball comes back, it makes a really loud bang. And it's a really odd noise if you haven't been up. And it did it just as I was about to let go of it. And I pulled out of it right at the last second, and it was almost past the last second. It looked like I dislocated my arm. And I came back, and like the hole across my chest, I was like, oh God, that hurt. And I turned to Rhino and I go, I think that might have been my longest follow through of the day. And the ball was still on my hand. So yeah, it's I mean, how amazing was it that night? Which night would it have been? We bowled Chameleon Wednesday night?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, the place was packed, wasn't it? I think Anthony was telling me that that there was a deal for the league bowlers, I think, because they were supposed to be bowling league that night, and they got a deal with Mr. Strobel, and he'd hooked them up. They were definitely on Team Duke and Team Walter the first game, and they both came out with 250, and the place was rocking.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, they didn't want to move though.
No.
They were big fans until it came to like, oh, I've got to move seat. Now I'll stay here.
Yep.
I'll find somebody else to moderately support.
Was there some? Yeah, let's see. Those bleachers are right in front of the bar. Yeah, okay. That makes sense why they didn't move.
I told I'd bowl with Andrew Suscriba, and he missed a 5-pin, and I said, wow, that would have cost you quite a few shots of Hennessy if you'd have been in front of the section that was cheering us on. There was definitely some spirits being drank that night, but fortunately for him, he missed it in like the mid 70s or something. So there was no extra frame cameras, and there was flow bowling cameras, and there was no league bowlers with their hands up.
So it never even happened.
Yeah, it's like that tree that falls in the forest. Yeah. That always seems to be, to me, the dumbest phrase ever. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody hears it, did it fall? Well, yes. That's why there's a tree on the floor.
Yeah.
Well, the real question is, if a tree falls in the forest and nobody's around to hear it, what ball is it throwing?
I thought it was, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, how many pins can be made from that tree?
Well, Carmen Salvino has the old, he says to me, he says, hey, Stu. Yeah, what's up, Carmen? He goes, the Italian restaurant called. They said they needed some more toothpicks. I said, no problem. I'll go down and rip some racks, shred some racks. I was like, oh, there you go, Carmen. There you go. It's always amusing, no matter how many times I hear it, the Johnny Petraglia story about when he talks about Carmen stood in front of the mirror practicing his maneuvers for the crowd. Or his public, as he would put it.
The public, yes.
His adoring public. I've heard that a couple times.
I asked Doug Kent at one point this week, because he's been rapping us this week, how much he had to fight back telling me, you just stink. Like, what would I do? I wouldn't be as bad as you. Dougie said, there was only a couple of times I thought about it, and then started laughing. And then he goes, I know why I'm not out here.
That was unusual for Simonson. He had the 3, 6, 9, 10. He shot at it with a backup ball, and he hit the 3-pin so light, that's the only pin he took down. He left the 6, 9, 10.
I'm just as useful as all the rest. Dom wasted 5 frames with one of the suggestions that we spoke about. He went back to what he thought. Got a double. It's a toss-up. Which is harder, being a bull rap or being Jeff Goodyear with the clicks, sitting here?
Yeah.
They have to watch qualifying for 9 hours too.
It's more than 9 hours, too.
It won't be today. Only
No,
3
today
in a pair.
is, after the last 3 days, today feels like the best day of my life.
No, it wasn't that bad. Come on.
No, it could be worse.
Well-
Could be a third squad. Oh, good. A week from today.
Last 2 weeks from today, the last day of qualifying at the USBC Masters. 3 squads, 450 players in the event.
Is it, I think they're
5 on a pair.
I think they're tapping out at 495.
Well, yeah, there's like 450 right now. So
495. You know what's cool about 495 players, Jeff?
10 of them?
165 checks.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what's cool.
yeah. So what you're saying is, if
So
you,
here's the deal, right, Phil? You could bowl, get 0 points for the PBA, and still cash for 1,200.
yeah, get 5 points.
No,
Just for showing up.
I think there's only points for the top 100. I might be wrong,
Huh?
but I think it's only the top 100 that get points. So you could cash. No, you didn't get any points. I think I'd rather have cash.
Wow, no, Neil's finding trouble because he goes 2-8-10, makes a bit of a move, and then 4-6-10.
Yeah.
This is the point in time where you waste the
Could
2 pins and
Could shot 260 and end up
Yeah.
shooting 210. I doubt Bill will do that. About wasting the 2 pins.
okay.
With the way the lanes are lane to lane, it's often very, very unusual. You might be right though, Phil. It's very unusual that throwing at an empty rack is actually helpful.
Yeah.
Because judging whether it's a 210 or a strike is that's a very small window, especially at 60 feet away with no reference point.
You're the first
Oh, there you
bowler
go.
I've ever heard say that,
fair
and that
ball.
makes a lot of sense because you see so many shots like that, even 4 score during competition,
Yeah.
just to see what the ball's going to do. But that's a good point.
Thank you.
Andres Gomez started at 195. He's right at the ship over on 63 and 64. He can go off the sheet with the last 2 in the 10th for 279.
Yeah, he's already got the 268 on the board, so. Oof, Josh is having a tough time on this, but. This is the thing that happened a lot this week. Because I was kind of looking a little bit ahead for Dom and Wes over, what the next group was doing and stuff. And they've had a really strange reaction. I mean, the last game, Josh shot 240, and he had a horrible break on the 7-pin in the 10th frame. And right now, he's 153 in the 9th. And it's very odd that the people they're following broke the lanes down in what would be considered the correct. Like, they didn't do anything that was out of the way strange. Yet the reaction that these guys are having is really not conducive to high scores. They're miles away for the first 5 or 6 frames each time.
Is it just like these lanes here that they're at, that Wes and Dom are right now, they're pretty near the control counter, and a lot of times those lanes, so the control car keeps an eye on open play. They kind of keep in front of them. They get that extra wear that some of the pairs don't get.
Yeah.
Over time.
Yeah, maybe. It's just interesting. I just think that, oh, that's left. Oh, that's definitely the right ball now, because that one was left. That's what we're talking about EJ. He's bowling the lanes a lot straighter than you would expect. So him and Belmo, 520 apiece after 2.
Yeah, EJ is kind of playing the right edge of that friction area we were talking about before.
Yeah, but he's also going very straight through the front as well. It's interesting.
And just when you get it all figured out, time to move pairs.
Yep. Goody. It's my favorite part of the whole day when you have a good pair and you only shoot like 217, and then the next pair you know is going to be a train wreck because you didn't take advantage of the good pair. So now it's doubly a train wreck because you can't even relax and just take the 190 because you only shot 210 last game.
Dom looking at a game of the 230s with that nice.
He's making his move.
So you're going to follow Dom, or you're going to stick with us?
I think I'm going to stick with you for a little bit because Dom's going to 71 and 72, which I don't think we've got a camera on, have we?
No.
but I can see from here, so I will randomly muse to all the Don Barrett fans what's going on
Fantastic.
while we're watching somebody completely unrelated.
Sounds like most of my commentary here in the Flow Zone. Hey, this is going on way over here, off camera.
Oh, Kyle Sherman, not the best reaction you're looking for, but if you're going to have it, having it on the second shot of the 10th is nice. So Dom's gone to one of the lower end balls in the range, similarly to what EJ's doing, except this ball hooks quite a lot. The Destiny Hybrid, I believe it is, from Ebonite. Whenever I watch AJ throw the ball, AJ Johnson, I always feel like one day he could just pop and throw it through the masking unit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like he looks very angry with it, and then like just one day he could just run up and just like fling it and put a hole straight in the middle of the masking unit.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be an arc to the ceiling. It would be just a line shot.
Yeah. I mean, when we were, they were talking about the far end. I mean, for the fans at home, Thunder Bowl might literally be one of the biggest buildings in the history of America.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how many times you've been here, they always find another room that you haven't seen. It's just ridiculous how big the place is. But the middle bay is, give or take, what is it, like 50 lanes in the middle?
54 lanes.
So it's 54 lanes in the middle. The arena bay is another 18. 20 in the arena bay.
See, we're adding lanes to even your current perception.
Then the other
16 in the
is
Cosmic
16,
Bay.
but I think they've taken 4 out.
No, it used to be 20. Now it's 16. That's
Yeah.
why it ends in 36 in there, and it starts in 41 out here in the main bay.
So they were talking about the very high bay, and I've only been in there one time. And the one time I've been in there, it kind of involved a little bit of PBA history. For all you guys at home, do you remember when Oscar threw it over the bar stool?
Yep.
That's where we were practicing it. And Oscar, fun little story about that. If you ever watch that video back, Oscar takes the stool down the lane and he puts it there. Yeah. And when he walks back, he goes, oh, shit, that's a long way down there. Because Oscar had never thrown the ball over the stool with it on the lane. Because me and Ronnie Russell were in there, and we were moving it on the next lane because he didn't want to throw it and not know that he could get over it. So, but he didn't want to practice and hit it and mess something up.
Right.
So he was like, if I'm going to hit something, I might as well hit it on TV. So we were moving the chair down the lane because he was like, oh, I'll throw it over the chair. And I'm like, I can throw it over a chair. I mean, like, come on now. So we moved this bar stool down the lane on the next lane, and Oscar was throwing it, and me and Ronnie were like eyeballing whether he was getting over it. And I'd move it to one spot, and I go, you didn't get over it because the ball was still going up. So then we moved it further down the lane. So we got it to a point, and I'm like, look, you could probably put it further, but I think at the arrow, the end of the middle arrow is probably, that's probably okay. I think you've proved your point at this, you know. And he's like, okay. So he threw one, and it cleared it easily. So we're like, all right, cool. So he decides, yeah, I'm going to put that in my repertoire. So he puts it in, and then when he takes the stool down there, he hadn't realized in his brain, because of course it's on the next lane, he's not dead looking at it. He's like, wow. Because he got, I mean, in that whole deal, he got absolutely screwed, because his trick shots were miles better than everybody else. He just had less of them. And then they didn't have a cumulative score. They just had, oh, you got through this round. And like, Norm was teasing Parker because he got his kids out to throw like the pool ball shot or whatever, and it's like it's impossible to miss because it's like dominoes. So they're laughing about all of this, and yeah, Oscar just ran. Here he goes. So he walks down the lane with this stool, and here he is, puts it on the lane right there. Yeah, he actually put it just after the arrows. And then watch his face now. Whew, that's a long way down there. This was honestly the first time he ever attempted this.
Yeah, you can see there's still the trepidation in his face going, what's going to happen?
That's a long way away.
That's a lot of equipment in that gutter cap that might go away.
And then it went high flush. Brian Voss actually told him when he did that that was the greatest thing he'd ever seen. Yeah. At the time, one of the guys who was judging that told Oscar that that if he walked up on the first shot and just threw the ball through the masking unit, he'd say that he'd won. Yeah, but Norm was chirping it up pretty good with Parker, because Chris got his kids in on a trick shot, and then the next one, Parker used his kids, and Norm said something along the lines of, he goes, "Yeah, wow, I've never seen someone use their kids since the last guy."
I mean, if you go back to the side view, and it's unfortunately that. Look at how high. It won't drop, Jeff. Sorry. You just look how high that ball is over the chair. It's insane. It's like still 2 feet over the chair.
Yeah, it's miles above the chair, that's for sure. And then the fact is, when it comes down, it bounces. It doesn't like double bounce. It just goes doink, and then it's fine, and then it rolls. You'd expect if you threw something that high, it would just be like
must be fake. It was all faked.
Yeah. But it was a long way in the air, that's for sure. That seems a little bit like we were laughing a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's like, good luck following that one. And we were laughing a little bit about it because when we were in Columbus, Phil, they did the introductions for Chris Barnes.
Yeah.
And they said, you know, PBA Hall of Famer, USBC Hall of Famer, Triple Crown winner, like the whole 9 yards, everything. And then Darren Tang was introduced after Chris, and they said, he made the cut last week, Darren Tang. And I told Darren, I was like, that's just, you just got screwed over who you followed. I was like, suddenly they're still hearing Chris's introduction when Darren walks down. He just, it's all about timing, and he had bad timing.
Yeah, it's going to be like next week when they're introducing the round of 16 with Belmo and Matt McNeil. Oh, here's Jason Belmonte, all this stuff. Here's Matt McNeil, first tournament of the year.
Well, at least they're going to give him the whole Eagle.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll throw that one out there at him.
Yeah. So they have updated the scores after 2.
Yep. Oh, I got it over here.
Yeah. So they're cutting to 16, correct?
Cutting to 16. So right now that man on the number is Kurt Pilon.
And AJ.
And AJ Chapman, yeah.
5:02. And what were they going into this? It wasn't very high. It wasn't very much more.
They were Pilon and Chapman were a little higher up in the standings. They were, let me take a look here.
16th was 498.
Yep.
Before it started.
Yeah, Pilon was 16th.
Yeah.
But Pilon also had a bit of advantage over guys like Schaefer, Dick Allen, Gomez, Page, and they've had much better starts to the day than Kurt Pilon has, but he still finds himself in 16th.
So the number hasn't really moved at all, so that's going to be so the Malott, Blanchard, and Barrett pair have got the front 9 between them. Front 10. So they've Wes has got 4-bagger, 3-bagger, 3-bagger.
So you made a good move just staying in here with us then.
Yeah, I mean, since I stopped helping Dom, he struck every ball.
So Belmo right now, high block on the morning.
Followed
124 over.
Followed closely by Mr. EJ.
EJ 116 over, BJ Moore 110 over, and Martin Larson with a nice move. Martin up at the 29th. He's 100 over for his first 2.
And interestingly, 3 of those 4 players have all bowled on the first pair. Martin, just click on Martin. What did Martin shoot that game? I think he must have shot a pretty nice game. That's the second one.
245, 255, 245.
Yeah, 255, 245. So it wasn't as high as I thought.
Yeah.
But so Josh is going for 300 here, Jeff. It's a crucial shot on the pair that's not on video.
the Trios Baker 300. That would have actually both of the league ones that we did that. We actually rotated the shots in the 10th frame. So everybody had like 1, 4, 7 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But then you had to rotate all 3 shots in the 10th. And
Oh, he got it. Yes. That's a bowling fan. I'm
super,
happy.
super Norm in front of the booth. No, I do not, sir. Norm right now, he's 31 over for his first 2, but he's got the first 3. Sitting in 11th.
You've got a free throw coming up, Norm. So we can switch to this pair. This pair's pretty entertaining right now.
Duke Barnes and Chapman? Absolutely.
Yeah.
65 and 66. Yeah, Barnes looking for his front 3. And he's playing them kind of straight through the front as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is kind of interesting that you have like you can flick back between. You've got the elder statesmen here in Barnes and Duke playing straighter, and then you've got the younger guys who are really going left to right. Update: Wes Malott just 10-pinned. But Dom struck again. So I believe that's 12 in a row since I got in the booth and got out of his way.
He'll be sending you early to pick up lunch then during Game 5?
He might be sending me. I don't know. He trusts me to pick up lunch. Well, Simonson made the move left. I'm just giving people a brief update. Simonson has moved in, and he's got a 4-bagger now. Yeah, it's very interesting pair to pair, isn't it, Phil? There's like some pairs that everybody's striking, and then the next pair it's like 1 double and 2 opens.
Yeah, and as you said, it's just scouting pair to pair here wasn't exactly the easiest for you as players or for the ball reps this week as well.
One squad is always a bit of a nightmare for that, to be fair. Oh.
And no roll for Blanchard on a 10.
Ryan Schaefer had a nice week this week.
Schaefer got himself into the cheetah.
No.
I'm sorry, it was the chameleon for
Yes,
Schaefer. Yeah, he gets Tim Pfeffer in the first round of chameleon.
Is that how we go with it? I always thought he was a Pfeiffer.
I thought it was a Pfeffer. E before I. Thought that was a eh. But I'm just kind of.
I mean, Pfeffer seems like a ridiculous name.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen Tim, so I'll have to get the friendly reminder on how to pronounce his last name. Last time I saw him was last year at the Masters in Syracuse.
I mean, I don't really. I'm at the point where I don't really care how he pronounces it. I'm not calling him Pfeffer. Yeah, he dethroned Belmonte last year.
Yes, he did. That's
I think he bowled
pretty big win.
An enormous score.
It's one you tell the grandkids for years after. Of course, that's one of the pitfalls of that format at the Masters.
Well, it's just different.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a pitfall. It's just different. Here we go, Mr. Barnes. Oh, that lane is a bit tighter. And if you miss a little fast on that lane, another strike for Dom, front 6. If you miss a little long on that lane on 66, it isn't coming back at all. I mean, it does look like I'm Johnny 2020 here, saying that the right lane's a little tighter, and there's a 3-7 on the left lane, which is obviously through the nose hit, and a 8-10, which is a 2-8-10 hit on the right lane.
Things seem to really be getting squirrely because you look across there, you got 2-4-8-10, 3-6-7, 8-10,
yeah,
3-6-10, 6-10, big 4 a couple lanes down.
What's basically happening is, for a lot of the guys, they're being forced off their spot in the front, and the lane isn't quite developed enough to move as far left as they feel like they need to. So, you got to hit 1 to make it. Ugh. But it's forcing them off their spot, so they're getting more open than they want to be. And once they do that, then you grab it a little bit and it hooks too much. you get a little steep with it, and then you leave the 2-8-10. There has been a lot of 7-10s today as well. Sean Maldonado just left another one there when he was in the middle of a nice game.
How about that? That's Hall of Fame carry right there. 4 on the deck, all in the middle. Well,
so Phil says, that's Hall of Fame carry. And Chris turns around and goes, not all of us. We're just explaining to Norm the interaction then between Chris and Phil Frames.
I'm not.
He's a little bitter.
Yeah, I'm now off of Chris's Christmas card list. I'm sure Linda will still send me one.
Sure. If you think that's not a family decision. So Dom getting up on the front 6.
Wow, Ronnie Russell just left the pocket 9-10 on it wasn't that high of a hit.
So right now on 71 and 72, it's a must-play pair for the whole bowling center. Malott has got front 4, spare, double, Blanchard front 4, spare strike, and Dom the front 7.
Hey, guess which threesome finishes on that pair?
Barnes is just beginning to understand what his Hall of Fame eligibility gets him. So you finally figured out what that Hall of Fame card was for.
You guys may give it a friend once in a while.
Yeah, Belmo's group finishes on that pair in Game 5, 71-72.
Nothing bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the booth favorite Brob started on that pair. Let's have a Brob update. Where's Brob at?
He's down on the high end. Or down on the low end. Let me see if I can find where exactly he's at right now.
Oh no, I just meant score-wise.
Oh, overall.
435 for the first 2.
Yeah.
It's moved up a few spots
Moved
this
up
morning.
to 40th. This game, geez, 3 opens to start with.
Yikes.
7 whiff, 9 whiff, and 7-2. So he's sitting on 45 in the 4th and a spare in the 5th.
Ooh.
So he may find himself back in that number 45 spot.
Malott 7-pinned, and Josh flat 10'd. Barrett up on the front 7. Parker Bone, spare 4-bagger on 69 and 70. Spare 5-bagger. There we go. So I think that Chris is probably going to just ease up on his speed of hair here, make sure he gets it into a roll.
I think that's one thing a lot of casual followers and people are really starting to get in the sport a little bit more just don't see is they think all the changes that you guys make are either a ball change or a line change. Sometimes they can't see the axis rotation change or that slight speed change you guys
just
make.
geared it down a little bit. Good shot by Chris.
Well, you said after last time on that lady, he goes, stay out of your own way. So he's. Oh, Dom left 10-pin.
Yeah, flat 10 for Barrett, unfortunately. But Chris is telling us he has more splits than spares. I don't think that makes him particularly unique in the field. It's just that Chris probably doesn't miss that many spares, so maybe that's the unique part of it.
Yeah, 17 under on the block for the first 2. So he's still throwing more strikes than spares and opens.
So let me find my sheet. I've got my cross sheet here. Who's going to 71 and 72 game 4?
Pilon, Allen, and Schaefer.
Okay.
They're going to that pair next. EJ Tackett, he's running into a bit of trouble on 57 and 58. He's sitting on 71 in the 5th, spare in the 6th.
Belmo's running into a bit of trouble as well. He's only got a 5-bagger through 7. Oh no, how will he ever cope?
But Stu, don't you think it'd be really depressing to know you had 4 chances at $1 million and blew it all 4 times? Currently, he's 0 for 3.
Oh, is this the 4th opportunity?
Yes.
Oh,
If
I
he's
thought
the
you were
one
about to
seed,
say
yeah.
it would be even worse if you had a chance for $1 million, you didn't get it, and then the next major you bowled, you did get it. That would be a little bit of a kick in the old
That's a
pills.
very good chance, actually, being that our next major is the Masters, and there's no million available for that one.
Yeah, but I mean,
He's usually not good in the Masters, though.
no.
I mean, he's only had 279 in the championship match. Once for sure. I don't think it was twice, but
Well, he bowled 259, I think, or 258. Something like that. The first time that he beat, the first time he won, because I was on that show. I lost to Malott before. Me and Malott battled it out 190 to 180 or something like that, 2-0 to 180, something like that. And then the next match, Malott could strike out to beat him. I think it was 59-58, and I was just looking at Wes. Like, Wes didn't get any practice shots, and I'm just like, that was incredible. How did you manage to go from 180 to 260 or 250 like that? It was, yeah.
Is that the show Mika was wearing that jersey?
No, Mika wasn't. Mika, if you want to know those shows, that was a while before that, I think. Mika, I don't think Mika wore that at a major.
No, he was on a show with you. I think it was the Masters. I think I'm correct. Parker Bowman was on that show, too.
Yeah, the very first round. He didn't wear the clown shirt, though, did he?
I think he did.
Was that the show he did? Oh, okay.
Well, the bet was the next show he was on, and he made it a major. He is Major Mika.
He is. Although I don't think anybody should have the nickname Major except Belmo.
Well, I interviewed Mika for Bowler's Journal, which is out in this month's issue, actually.
Oh, nice plug.
I didn't even mean to do that. It's just the synergy
Oh, see, you just
flows out of me. And he mentioned to me
something
that
flows out of you.
he, yeah, he mentioned that there are other people more deserving of the Major moniker, but
He's still
being that his
keeping
first
it.
two, well, yeah, he's not going to give it back.
Oh, here we go.
Is this Phil proving me right?
I
that what's
think it
happening
is.
right now?
It is, yeah. To be perfectly honest, I didn't even realize Mika made that show. So, that's cool. That thing was sweet.
I was glad to see that make an appearance at his Hall of Fame induction in the PBA this year. During
To
the
be honest,
during the ceremony.
the pants that he wore were way more offensive than the shirt. when he lost the trouser bet, that was pretty bad. So Dom had a ring 10 in the 10th, so he's going to shoot 258 or 259. Malott 258, and Josh can strike out for 259. So they made some good business on the end pair there. Can you pull up the scores on 43 and 44, Phil?
No, that one I can't get at, unfortunately.
Oh, you've only got the flow scores. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I understand. Since Barnes realized he had the Hall of Fame carry, he's it's loosened the arm swing up. And the whole world's available to him now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Barnes is down his ball rep today. Steve Jacobs, his young son, is having a little bit of a surgery today. Ooh. So we're sending our good thoughts over to Steve.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything goes according to plan. And he's got somebody to cheer on tomorrow in the round robin. So.
So Dom finished with 260, 250?
259.
Yeah, okay.
I believe 259 or 258.
Yeah.
Wes shot 258, and Josh just 10-pinned again, a slightly higher hit, and he's going to shoot 238. So, even with the 230, I mean, it'll be a little frustrating to get out of a really good pair with not a 250, but still, you can't be upset shooting 230s. Oh, Belmo just went straight through the nose, and did he manage to strike? No, 10-pin. So in the 10th frame, Belmo could shoot 279. He went straight through the face. Left the 10-pin. 258 with a spare. So
Barnes with the reset after feeling something on the sliding sole.
And if you just bring that up, I think that EJ Tackett is having a disaster game.
Tackett right now is sitting at 116 in the 8th, spare in the 9th.
So he needs a double for 160. Simonson with an odd 230 game. A 5-bagger and a double for 227 or something.
Yep.
Looks like a stew game to me. I had the front 7 last night. I was getting excited. Split, double, 240. A little part of me died that game. When you catch 2 lucky strikes and you manage to parlay it into the front 7, 240 isn't really what you're looking for when you're like 30 or 40 out the number.
Ronnie Russell came by the booth earlier this week. He was on the front 6. He goes, I can't get excited. He goes, I had the front 5 last game and ended up with 2-0.
Well, smoked Hess then. Did that one get a mention at all this week?
No, but
No.
you regaled me with that tale. Maybe you could regale our millions of viewers.
Well, Tom Hess had the front 5 on Cheetah, and he didn't score what he was expecting, I think is the best way of putting it. I think he scored 167.
Ooch.
So we'll leave you guys at home to do the math on that one. It wasn't pretty.
Beauty of bowling.
I was hoping for a chamois tear. Tom Hess did the scariest thing I think anybody in a bowling center has ever done. And I want to preface this. I love Tom Hess. I think he's one of the real nice guys out here. But Tom gets very frustrated when he bowls. And he often takes it out on himself, which is kind of intimidating because when he punches himself in the face, that's, don't kind of want to be on the end of one of those.
No.
But one time he took a chamois and he ripped it in half, like tore it down the middle. So yeah, I don't think he put a cut in it to start with to tear it either. I think he just tore it straight down the middle. Kind of puts Barnes to shame tearing his shirt.
Yeah.
Told him a real man tears a chamois, not a shirt.
No, EJ's sticking with the same way he's been getting to the pocket the rest of the day.
It's a pretty nice shot there from AJ. Not a big fan of that shade of pink on AJ's shirt.
Just in general or for him?
No, just in general, that reddy pink. I prefer like the brighter pinks.
Yeah? Okay.
Just putting it out there.
Like Ronnie's?
Yeah, well, that's more of a powder pink.
Yeah.
That's a girl's bedroom pink. Almost pastel pink. I'm just trying to change it up a little bit and change the flow. See what I did there? Flow. So one other plug I want to give everybody at home is if you are watching this on your computer and you think, I'd like to watch this on a bigger screen, well, Flow Sports is available, I know for sure, on Roku.
Yes.
Yes.
And other platforms. I think it's
Apple
also
TV.
it's also on Apple TV as well. So it's kind of cool that you can. A Roku stick's about $25 or $30, and it plugs straight into the HDMI. And yeah, it's a pretty easy way to watch some pretty cool Flow sports, other sports, including the bowling. But you can always watch the live feed on Flow. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. We often have it on in our home on multiple sites. I actually had a video last night of my son, and my wife had brought the Roku menu up on the screen, and he has an iPad, and he didn't realize that the TV wasn't an iPad. So he was walking up, and he gets his one finger, and he always touches the apps with the one finger. He doesn't slap it. And he kept touching the Flow Sports app. It wasn't coming up. He looked very confused to my wife, like, what's wrong with the internet connection? Like, why isn't this working? So Tina, of course, decided that the fun thing to do there is not a teachable moment, but to just laugh at him.
How about that? The old quad box for watching Flow. You can watch 4 different pairs at once now.
And if you're watching on a big screen, then you won't go cross-eyed.
Phil, we inadvertently created the septuple box as you had Flow Zone in one of your windows.
For all of the people at home, Jeff was so excited to be able to use that phrase.
Yeah.
Dropping a bit of the old knowledge.
Erudition is why I'm here.
There's got to be some reason.
Yeah, let's put this graphic up. Game 4 coming next.
Yeah.
Live from Allen Park.
Okay, fellas. Well, I'm going to go down the other end. I
appreciate you stopping in for a couple games.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm going to go down the other end and not help Dom.
Perfect. He will appreciate that.
I'm going to start peeking at the scores already. First strike I don't see on the scoreboard for him. I'm going to see where you're at.
You're going to come down with a microphone and say, Phil Frame's update from the other end. Judge Dredd is here. Dom had the front 4, and then Stuart turned up, and he Greek churched. So. All right, fellas. Well, I'll probably see you at the Masters then, because I think I'm going to get out of here tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow. I'm thinking it's probably going to be tomorrow.
Yeah. Go home, get some rest with the wife and son, and we'll see you in Vegas.
All right. Take care.
Why? Hey. Don't go so hard. So then why? How do you know you're lost if you throw it like a dick?
Because it's done it like this.
Okay.
Come on. Talk about dig out.
Dig out.
That would be tip back.
No one see it? Are you the only one that sees it? You and I? Go over there to the green.
Pontus Anderson, Andrew Anderson, no relation. Michael Holloman, no relation. Also another look at BJ Moore, Matt McNeil, and Sean Maldonado. PBA World Championship Cashers qualifying round 1, game 4. 1 to play after this, and then another 5 games tonight at 6:30 Eastern Time, and then only 16 players remain who will bowl 16 games tomorrow in the Arena Bay.
BJ Moore having a big morning to this point, or early afternoon, I should say. 231, 279, 247 for 157 to the positive. And that's moved BJ Moore up into 4th place. Belmo, O'Neill, Doherty still your top 3. Belmo 199 pins ahead of O'Neill right now. The aforementioned BJ Moore in 4th. EJ Tackett drops to 5th after struggles in game 3. Kyle Sherman 6th, Sean Maldonado 7th, Matt McNeil to 8th, Anthony Simonson in 9th, Chris Prather in 10th. The man that's your number right now as we're taking 16 to the match play rounds tomorrow. Parker Bone the third at plus 519, the man in 16th. Rhino Page just ahead of him by 4 pins. And AJ Chapman in 17th. Just 13 pins behind, of course, with this game and game 5 remaining in this round. 5 games and a fresh application of this Anthony pattern happening this afternoon before the players come back at 6:30 p.m. tonight for their final qualifying round for the Cashers in the World Championship. And after we're done with 5 games tonight, top 16 advance to tomorrow's World Championship match play. And your start times tomorrow a little different than what we've had all week long to this point, as your match play rounds will start at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. So notate those start times. A little change from what you've had all week long. 9 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Eastern for each round of match play tomorrow. mention BJ Moore's big move up the standings this morning with that plus 157. A couple players have had a slight slide down the standings. Jacob Buttroff just 26 over. Keeps Buttroff in 13th. Chris Barnes 33 over. With the good comeback last game you saw here in the flow zone. Barnes was under after his first two. Now he gets himself to 33 over on the day, plus 537 overall in 14th in the standings. AJ Chapman 4 under on the day. Chapman, the man just outside the number right now, plus 506. Kurt Pilon, he came in as the number. Pilon 5 under on the day. Pilon in 19th, plus 493. And Ronnie Russell, big time struggles today. Russell 55 under to this point on the day. Leaves Russell in 21st at plus 491. Michael Holloman. You'll see Holloman taking on Chris Barnes in Cheetah match play on Monday. For Holloman's lone animal pattern appearance. Pontus Anderson, one of the rare players to make World Championship Cashers round and not make a single animal pattern match play. Sam Cooley, you see in the picture there. In that same boat with 0 match plays made, but yet making the World Championship Cashers round. EJ Tackett left 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, almost picked it up. Or pardon me, Tackett left the 7, 10, almost pick it up. Jason Belmonte's looking at the 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. And Belmo got 2 out of the spare attempt. BJ Moore, thanks to his 166 game last night, still enough to stay in the Scorpion Championship match play, but he gets his opening round match against Jason Belmonte on Wednesday. BJ Moore also part of the Cheetah Championship. And Moore takes on Matt McNeil in that opening round match on Monday. Andrew Anderson, he'll be battling this man here, Sean Maldonado, in the opening round of Scorpion Championship match play on Wednesday. Once again, all your match play rounds Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 3 p.m. start for the match play round of 8. Of course, you got to get through the round of 16 to get to the round of 8. And that round of 16 will start at noon each of those days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for their respective animal patterns. taking a look outside of flow zone coverage, we mentioned A.J. Chapman struggles today. He's starting to get together now in lane 69 and 70. Chapman on the front 6 on his pair with Norm Duke and Chris Barnes. And make it the front 7 for Chapman. And Martin Larson down on lanes 53 and 54. He's going to be stepping up with his chance to shoot 300. He's on the front 9. We'll get you down to that as quickly as possible. That's even quicker than quickly as possible. As Martin Larson currently sitting in 26th plus 452. As we're here, Cashers Round qualifying at the PBA World Championship, part of World Series of Bowling 10, and Larson's going to get himself close to being inside the top 16 with that solid game. One more game remaining here in this early afternoon round, Cashers Round of the PBA World Championship. Reapplication of this 43-foot Earl Anthony pattern will take place once the bowlers are completed with Game 5, and they will return for 5 final games of Cashers Round qualifying at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Final game of round one, Cashers qualifying. Jeff Goodger with Phil Brilo at Thunder Bowl Lanes in Allen Park, Michigan. World Series of Bowling, day 4. It's the PBA World Championship. Cashers round, A.J. Johnson, Anthony Pepe, and Sam Cooley on 57 and 58. Also following Chris Prather, Ronnie Russell, and Jacob Buttroff on the flow zone in game 5. 10 pairs to choose from. And same will be the case tonight for the final 5 games of Cashers round. And for the rest of the World Series, we'll have every pair of action covered. Match play tomorrow, match play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And of course, if you're an international viewer, you get the telecast as well on Flow Bowling. FS1, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then again on Friday, as we will be taping the USA versus the World on Thursday, airing Friday.
Just in case the 51 games of remaining coverage here on Flow Bowling for the World Series of Bowling 10 isn't enough for you after this game is complete.
And it isn't. That's why I'll be watching the telecast.
I was going with we'll just have a few days off before coming back with 5 on a squad qualifying, this time 3 squads a day from the USBC Masters.
That is a thing that will happen.
When that coverage starts on Wednesday, March 27th.
Yep, standard USBC Masters format. 3 squads for 3 days, 5-game blocks, and then cut to the top 64, the double elimination bracket on those final 2 days prior to the stepladder finals. But we're not there yet. We still have 4 titles to be decided here in Allen Park.
Oh, and then bragging rights. 4 titles and bragging rights. USA versus the World. Wrapping up those Fox Sports 1 shows. And a man that's going to be on top of that world team, Jason Belmonte, he's still your leader after 34 games of World Championship qualifying, plus 1052 his number. Bill O'Neill second, plus 891. Tom Doherty third, plus 787. BJ Moore fourth, plus 770. EJ Tackett fifth, plus 759. Sherman, Maldonado, Simonson, McNeil, and Prather round out your top 10. That all-important 16th position right now. Martin Larson. Larson with a heck of a run this morning. He's plus 211 for his first 4 on this Anthony pattern. 255, 245, 235. Changed it up a little bit in game 4. Changed the 5 to a 6, but put a 270 in front of that 6 for the plus 211 to get Martin Larson into that number 16 spot. And once again, some bowlers not finding this Anthony pattern to their liking early on and making a slide down the leaderboard. Buttroff just 38 over on the day in 13th. Barnes just 35 over on the day in 14th. A.J. Chapman 27 over on the day in 15th. Ryan Page 59 over on the day in 17th. Kurt Pilon 17 over on the day in 18th. And Ronnie Russell 31 under on the day to be in 18th with Pilon. And there you see Ronnie Russell right there whiffing the head pin entirely. And Ryan's going to need to find something in a hurry. We know Ronnie can throw a big block. He did it earlier in this event in the Chameleon Championship when he went 246, 236, 235, 248, and 288 for a plus 253 block, while making that Chameleon Championship match play round. Ronnie Russell will be battling Jimmy Cook in that round of 16 match on Tuesday. Buttriff's lone animal pattern match play. The Scorpion on Wednesday opens up against Thomas Larson in his round of 16 match. And the winner of that match will take on the winner of the Jason Belmonte BJ Moore matchup in the round of 8.
Russell's 2 spares to start this game. First strike.
Sam Cooley, one of those players not making an animal pattern match play, so his competition here in the World Championship will wrap up his efforts at World Series of Bowling 10.
Cooley is +6 on the day. Has him in 34th at +405. Which is 123 back of 16th right now. A.J. Johnson +458. He's +57 today, as Phil notes. And Buttriff does what we are accustomed to him doing, which is striking.
Anthony Pepe is going to make his first match play of the year. In the Chameleon Championship, he'll be battling Bill O'Neill on Tuesday in that match. But Pepe, just 36 over on the day, plus 424 in 33rd place. But that's less than 100 pins outside the number right now, or just about 100 pins. And Sam Cooley looks puzzled on that release. Cooley currently in 34th at plus 405. Cooley just 6 over on the day. And Russell getting that right lane figured out for a double. Taking a look at our top three, they're outside the flow zone coverage right now. Belmo started this fifth game with the first 4 strikes for leaving a single pin and then leaving a 7-10 split in the 6th. So Belmo can max out at 255 after a strike in the 7th. Tackett and O'Neill Tackett 2 opens on the board, no doubles. 72 in the 5th, strike in the 6th for Tackett. So Tackett's late block struggles are continuing. Makes you wonder if Tackett's going to try going with different equipment, different part of the lane when he comes back for the evening block at 6:30 p.m. tonight. O'Neill, 1 open, no doubles through 7 frames. Once again, good news for O'Neill is he had a bit of a cushion over third place Tom Doherty to keep Doherty a bit in the rearview mirror. A.J. Johnson having a solid World Series of bowling, but right now currently 27th in the standings. 57 over on the day, plus 458 for the event. A.J. Johnson and Ofer on the animal pattern, so World Championship will be Johnson's last action at World Series of Bowling 10. So these players will get a little longer break than they've had the opening 3 days of this event, with competition wrapping up after this game for Cashers Round qualifying in the early afternoon block. Join Jeff Goodger and myself back here 6:30 p.m. Eastern for the remaining 5 games of World Championship Cashers Round qualifying, once again on this Earl Anthony pattern, as we make our way to determining our top 16 players who will advance into tomorrow's World Championship match play competition
In the Arena Bay.
in the Arena Bay, in the historic Arena Bay.
Bleachers being built in there today.
Our set being built in there as well for flow bowling, and then once we leave, come back out here to the main bay and rebuild our set. The Fox Sports 1 TV crew will take over in the Arena Bay for those 5 consecutive nights of televised coverage, for those shows being live on Fox Sports 1. So enjoy the remainder of this early afternoon Cashers Round, these remaining couple of frames. Get your score updates through either the results tab at PBA.com, or pardon me, the results tab at flowbowling.com, or through either live scoring link at PBA.com. And once again, you can get your brackets for those animal patterns, see what your matchups are going to be through the links on the homepage at PBA.com as well. So for Jeff Goodger, I'm Phil Brylow. $2 Phil says, hey, parents, take the kids bowling because they will have fun for life. Join us back here this evening for 5 more games of Cashers Round qualifying for this World Championship at 6:30 p.m. Eastern.